These are the 20 most terrifying moments in NBA history.
Oh my goodness. Hayward has broken his leg.
We are being asked to slowly and calmly evacuate the building.
And first, Bismack Biyombo left fans horrified.
And Biyombo just sort of collapses and hits the floor in immediate concern.
That was terrifying. And so was Corey Brewer's nightmare at number 19, because an easy dunk had everyone thinking they were about to witness a funeral.
Oh my goodness.
Left my man terrified, just like the fans at number 18. Because during the middle of NBA Summer League, the entire stadium rumbled. But number 17 was even scarier, because Marcus Daniels went face first, into a blackout.
On both ends of the floor. And a foul on Arenas. We did see the one shot where his eyes were open.
But that's not the only terrifying moment. Because for number 16, Rodney Stuckey was looking all fine, until he was on the brink of death.
Obviously in some kind of real pain and discomfort. They put him out on his back for a bit and continue to work on him right now.
Luckily, everything was fine. But at number 15, Nerlens Noel took the terror to the next level. See, a routine block had him carried out on a stretcher.
Then all of that this year went up to block the shot.
That was hard to see. But look, sometimes it's not even players who are in trouble. 'Cause at number 14, Dennis Rodman went off at a cameraman.
He kicked the cameraman. He was really upset. Really upset.
But things got even more terrifying in the NBA. Just ask Rocky Mountain Line at number 13.
Oh my God.
Luckily, dude just passed out. Then number 12 took a live mishap to the limit. Because the Hawks announcer was on live TV when he lost consciousness.
I look for this kid to have a really good first half of the season.
But if that wasn't terrifying enough, for number 11, Gordon Hayward went through hell. Look, it was Hayward's first game with the Celtics. And as he went up for a dunk, he came down in the worst way possible.
Oh my goodness. Hayward came down so hard. Okay, Hayward broke his leg. Hayward has broken his leg. Hayward has broken his leg.
That's an injury people will never forget. But it was nothing like the punishment player number 10 took. I'm talking about a moment that went down as one of the most remembered horrors in NBA history. See, in 1977, a fight broke out between the Rockets and Lakers. Now, Rudy Tomjanovich ran out to break up the fight, but Kermit Washington was already on edge. And when he saw another body running after him, he swung hard. Now, that punch, it did damage beyond belief, 'cause Rudy barely made it to the hospital in time to stay alive. I mean, dude fractured his skull, broke his jaw and nose, and caused fluid to leak into his brain. And his emergency room surgery? It ended his all-star trajectory right there. But things got even scarier at number 9, 'cause Lou Williams had to think fast before he was shot. See, Lou was just chilling in his car when someone knocked on his window with a surprise.
I just heard click, click, click. Somebody knock on my window. I'm like, fuck. Look up. Bro got the gun on me. I don't know why, but I rolled the window down. That's just where my mind took me. I rolled the window down. And he like, get out the car. And I said, huh? And when I said, huh, he looked at me, he said, Lou, I can't even do it to you, bro. I got too much love for you.
And if Lou wanted the gun out of his face, he needed to tell this guy something fast. So his defense became McDonald's.
He said, man, I just got out of jail and I just was thinking fast. I said, look, bro, it's a McDonald's right there. You meet me at the McDonald's. I'll buy you whatever you want to eat. He said, all right, cool. I started driving first.
Yeah.
Went into the McDonald's, running across the street to the McDonald's. So while he running to the McDonald's, I call my man like, yo,
pull back up.
Pull back up. I'm like, pull up to the McDonald's. Pull up to the McDonald's. So they made the story like I sat down and ate with him on some, hell nah. That motherfucker ordered food. I swiped my card.
Yeah.
I shook his hand. I said, God bless, bro, but this ain't the way.
Yeah.
And by that time, my man was walking in McDonald's. I got the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
So that's the real story.
Yeah.
Think that's terrifying? Then player number 8 is still lucky to be here. See, Jay Williams was supposed to be the next big thing in the NBA. The guy was a college phenom in 2002. But then, tragedy struck. Not on the court, but the streets. 'Cause Jay violated his team contract to ride his Yamaha R6 motorcycle. And after revving his engine to impress a friend, he went on a straight crash course.
I was terrified. It was a horrible feeling because I remember I couldn't really not feeling my leg. But the first thing coming to my mind wasn't about I don't want to die or, I was really stupid for doing it. My first thought in my mind that came to my mind was I threw it all away because a mistake happened to me. I lost control of the bike. I thought I was in a different gear when it wasn't. And, the bike kind of just turned on me. And there was a pole in a tree, but I just tried to turn the bike at the last second. And I just happened to hit the pole, and his body spinning in the air and just ended up laying on the curb.
Jay Williams is still in the hospital at this hour, recuperating from a motorcycle accident.
When I woke up in my bed, I was like terrified. I was like, where am I? What's going on? Where am I? Because I didn't know what happened. Everything was just a big blank to me.
The impact left him with severe injuries, a shattered pelvis, 3 torn ligaments in his knee, and nerve damage to his leg. Doctors weren't just questioning if he'd play again, they weren't sure if he'd walk. From a future all-star to a man who would have to rebuild his life. But for number 7, 17,000 fans almost witnessed death. See, in 2009, a magician by the name of Lady Houdini put herself through a torture chamber that had everyone on the edge of their seats. Now, Kristen Johnson stayed cool in her handcuffs until she started panicking. That was a close call, but Nate Robinson was even more helpless at number 6. See, Nate had a career that could only be described as full of heart. He was a 5'9", 3-time slam dunk champion and had an energy that never quit. But behind all that jump out the building, just dunking, Nate was quietly battling something much scarier. And Nate avoided these issues while being bounced around the league and making huge plays. But his health issues, they couldn't be avoided any longer.
2006, my doctor, Lisa Callahan, found my blood pressure to be pretty high. And they ran tests and did a whole bunch of stuff and seen that my kidneys were failing. And I always was healthy. When I was a kid, I always was healthy growing up. I never was sick. Always had good health, and there were times where I got sick and I was just throwing up and I couldn't control what was going on, and they had to put me in the hospital for a couple days, and come out feeling greater than I've ever felt before. So I just kept dealing with the routine over the years.
Now, after Nate stopped playing, his kidneys got worse by the day, and without a transplant, his time is slipping away. But look, for number 5, Thabo Sefolosha and Chris Copeland found themselves caught in one of the most disastrous nights the NBA has ever seen. See, Copeland got into an argument with a troublemaker. That spiraled out of control. Both Copeland and his fiancée were viciously stabbed, leaving their blood leaking into the pavement. Now, Copeland and his fiancée were rushed to the hospital. And while this was going on, Thabo was facing his most terrifying enemy yet. It was. After the club was shut down, one wrong move, and Sefolosha suffered the worst injury of his career. The scuffle left him with a broken leg and nerve damage that needed surgery immediately.
But before I knew, it went from 1 to 3 to 5. And basically somebody, coming from behind, kicking me in the leg, and people pulling me on both sides and grabbing me on the neck.
And you had ligament damage.
Correct.
As well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a serious injury.
Now, the effects from the injury were long-lasting. Thabo Sefolosha was never the same player, so he was out for revenge. And even though he was charged with obstruction, he later fought the charge and won his civil suit for $4 million. As for Copeland, he never got a payout for his tears. See, his struggle to return from injury marked the beginning of the end of his playing days. But at least they got to keep their lives, because Dražen Petrović wasn't so lucky. Because we gotta talk about how the Mozart of basketball had the most tragic ending to a career ever. See, this guy wasn't just any NBA player. He was a guy putting Europe on the map in the league. And by 1993, he was lighting it up for the New Jersey Nets. Fresh off averaging 22 points a game, dude was making defenders look silly. Even Michael Jordan, yeah, bro was really like that. But just as he was about to hit his prime, tragedy didn't knock. It crashed into his life. Because on a rainy day in June 1993, Dražen was riding shotgun in a car with his girlfriend, cruising through Germany. The roads were slick, and in one terrifying moment, the car slammed into a truck. Dražen, who wasn't wearing a seatbelt, was killed on impact. He was about to change the way the world viewed European players in the NBA, and suddenly, he was gone. But look, we've reached the top 3, so these moments aren't just terrifying, they're scary. And at number 3, we got the most chilling disappearance the world has ever heard of. See, after helping the Chicago Bulls win a championship in 1997, Bison Dele decided to step away from basketball while he was still in his prime. I mean, most guys would kill for his career, but Bison, he wanted freedom. So he traded arenas for adventure and eventually bought a catamaran setting sail on the open ocean. But in 2002, during one of his voyages in the South Pacific, things took a dark turn because Bison, his girlfriend Serena, the boat's captain, and his brother Miles, they were all aboard. And then, poof, they vanished. For weeks, no one heard from them. That was until Bison's brother suddenly reappeared in the US, using Bison's identity to sell his possessions. Yeah, shady. Doesn't even begin to cover it. And when authorities closed in, Miles fled to Mexico, where he ultimately took his own life. But not before confessing. He admitted there had been a violent fight on the boat, and Bison, Serena, and the captain never made it out alive. To this day, their bodies have never been found. Those family issues, they hit deep. And at number 2, we have even more insane family drama, because we gotta talk about one of the most haunting stories the NBA has ever seen. See, Lorenzen Wright wasn't just a player, he was a hometown hero, a Memphis legend who played 13 seasons in the league, known for his hustle, his heart, and love for his community. But in July 2010, Lorenzen vanished without a trace. Days later, that desperation turned into horror, cause his body was discovered in a wooded area outside of Memphis. The details? Brutal. He'd been shot multiple times, execution style. But even more chilling, a 911 call he made the night of his murder, where you could hear the terror.
Hi, Georgetown 911, where's your emergency? Hello? 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 Hello?
Now, for 7 years, his case went cold. No suspects, no arrests, just an eerie silence surrounding his death. But in 2017, the truth finally began to unravel. Police found the murder weapon in a nearby lake, and it led them straight to Lorenzen's ex-wife, Shara Wright, and her accomplice, Billy Ray Turner. It turned out his former lover had orchestrated the entire thing, hiring Turner to carry out the hit as a part of a twisted plot to cash in on Lorenzen's life insurance for millions. A betrayal so cold, it sent shivers down the spines of everyone who ever cheered him on. But look, we've hit the final moment on our list, and this one still feels unreal. See, Kobe Bryant wasn't just an NBA legend. He was basketball royalty. 5 rings, countless unforgettable moments, and a mentality that inspired millions around the globe. He was the kind of guy you thought was untouchable, immortal. But on January 26th, 2020, the world came to a standstill, because Kobe, his 13-year-old daughter Gianna, and 7 others boarded a helicopter headed to a basketball tournament. It was just another day for the Mamba, a quick flight to save time, something he'd done countless times before. This time, tragedy struck. In the dense morning fog over Calabasas, California, the helicopter lost control and crashed into a hillside. There were no survivors for hours. People refused to believe it. Kobe Bryant, gone. It didn't feel real, and when it was confirmed, the heartbreak was immeasurable. The man who gave us the 81-point game, clutch shots, and 20 years of greatness was gone. So the first day on floor, NBA players honored their superhero by letting the 24-second shot clock reach the heavens. The tragedy didn't just rock the basketball world. It rocked everyone, from fans to players, even those who didn't follow sports. The grief was universal. The thought of Kobe and Gianna, a father and daughter, taken so suddenly and so senselessly, was too much to bear.